Living well with and beyond cancer is kind of a way of delivering much more individual holistic care to patients, starting really at the point of when they're diagnosed and trying to offer them support during treatment, after treatment. We know that people are living a lot longer now following cancer treatment. Survival rates have increased hugely, so in particular in haematology cancers. Survival rates for leukemia and myeloma have quadrupled in the last sort of 40 years. So we know that we've got a growing population, we've got a growing aging population with a lot of comorbidities. So we've got to manage our cancer population quite differently. So it's a way of looking at helping people through treatment, with effects of treatment, looking out for signs and symptoms of recurrence of disease, being able to get back into the system. So managing, so not only obviously sort of consequences of treatment, but actually coping with what's been going on for them, helping them self-manage, helping them to take some better control over their own condition. So physical activity in particular, the evidence for physical activity in cancer is growing almost kind of daily, weekly. We know that physical activity helps with reducing consequences of treatment, so with things like fatigue, with things like mobility issues, pain, breathlessness. We know those sort of types of problems, bone health, osteoporosis, physical activity can be really beneficial. We know that because of the media, and we know that physical activity is always good for us, and it's good for reducing other comorbidities such as heart disease, lung disease, diabetes. But actually the really exciting evidence is around physical activity and the actual effect that it's having on cancer cells themselves and immune therapy responses. And so some of this evidence is going right down to that cellular level and trying to actually prescribe levels of exercise that will actually help reduce recurrence of treatment, recurrence of cancer, and actually stop cancer happening in the first place, but help people actually survive longer. So although it's emerging, it's new, but it's getting, the wealth of it's getting stronger. There's not masses of evidence in haematology cancers at the moment, but I think with time that will come, and there'll be more studies actually done on people with haematology cancers. So that's sort of the background, if you like, on the physical activity side. But we know that obviously eating well, being psychologically in the right place is all really helpful things for people when they're going to go and cope with their treatments and hopefully get fewer problems as a result of treatment. So they can manage, they can stay on treatment for longer if it's something that's going to be second, third line, whatever, help them with completion rates, help them with prevention of problems later on. People who've just been diagnosed, we're looking at actually trying to optimize them in terms of physical function, in terms of nutrition, in terms of psychological readiness for treatment. So it would be kind of trying to empower them at a time when they're about to embark on this sort of treatment regime of appointments and schedules and doctor's appointments and everything else. Actually say this is a time where you can do something to help yourself and help you get stronger, stay stronger and cope with the treatment. And I think then it's about people going through treatment. It's saying to them, look, these are signs and symptoms that you can look out for. It might be the fact that the cancer treatment itself is likely to cause a certain problem, or there's these signs of recurrence, and we want you to recognise those signs, and we want you to do something about it. We don't want you to sit and wait for a follow-up appointment that's weeks away. We want you to actually say you can speak to your nurse specialist, you can talk to your team, and you can come back into the system quicker. So it's about sort of getting people to become more well, if you like, and stay well, and then look after themselves in the future.